as I'm going back here and setting up my meeting, another security feature is that you can disable video for participants. You can click that on or off, and that's something that you can also change during the meeting when it's live. And that's something that I can handle in the settings as well. So I'm just going to do Control F, and I'm going to find where's video on here. So scheduling the meeting, I can have all participant video turned off, toggled off by default if I'd want. And then if I want them to share videos, I would just do that for the meeting or while the meeting's running. So those are the options for video. And the reason why that would be something secure is because then you have more control over, who's sharing their screen, and so that you can make sure that, okay, everybody here should be here. There's no strange person who shouldn't be in our meeting, and then you can allow them to share their video. Muting participants is something that I do this as a courtesy, so that when people are automatically logging into the meeting, they're muted. And that way it allows them to have a moment so that they can be mindful of the ambiance, their surroundings, make sure, okay, the dog is put away in the other room and that everything is good. And then people unmute themselves when they're ready. And by default, maybe you want everybody muted anyway, and you only want them to unmute themselves when it's purposeful, when they have something to contribute. Otherwise, we'll keep it muted. And when we run a meeting, I'll show you how you can allow people or unallow people to unmute themselves. In other words, they might have to ask you permission to unmute themselves, and then you grant them permission. So we'll look at those options. And you can also have that option here in the audio. I'm going to search for request permission to unmute. All right, it's in here in the in-meeting advanced section. There's this called request permission to unmute. Let me unhide that. You can toggle that on if you'd like, and that way all your meetings, everybody's going to be muted, and they have to ask permission every single time when they unmute themselves. I don't have that toggled on because my meetings are usually small, so you have to gauge also, do you tend to run meetings that are small classes and department meetings, or do you ever do meetings that have 30, 50, 100 people in them? So you have to be mindful that the larger meetings, it's harder to monitor that stuff. So you can have it so that people always have to request to unmute themselves.